Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Million Dollar Media. I'm your host, Max Halls, and with me today we have...
Hi, it's me, Emily. You know me from this channel. I'm on it in places. You could click on a video and there's a non-zero chance I'm in it.
Hey, I'm Joelle.
Hi, I'm James. I'm Joelle's husband. There's technically a non-zero chance of getting a video with me in it because I've been in one other video. That's my introduction. You can go ahead, Adrian.
Hello?
Adrian, are you objecting?
Adrian died.
Is my audio not going through?
No.
Damn.
That's silence.
Damn. That's unfortunate.
Oh my god.
That's my intro. That's my intro clip.
Alright, you know what? Fine. Alright. Today we're talking about Arcane, Season 1. Yeah, holy shit. Still probably one of the best TV shows I have seen in the last, it's 2021, so like, I'd say in the last like 5 to 10 years. Like, talk about a show that just sticks with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
I want to say right off the bat, like, I don't know anything about League of Legends. I didn't know anything about it going into the show, and I still don't know anything about it going out of the show. So I'm kind of curious to see what you guys knew about League of Legends before talk about the season.
Yeah, that's why you're here, James.
Oh, great. Okay. Right. So I guess that's my true thought. I don't know. Emily, Adrian, have either of you two played?
I played League of Legends way back in ye olde, like 2016. I downloaded it on my computer because my friend was like, we gotta play this game. I played a few rounds of it. I unlocked Jinx and the lady with the ice bow who's not in the TV show. And then unlocked the girl that has like a big monster that follows her around. It was like a Red Riding Hood reference, I think. And then I stopped playing the game.
And me, I had no experience whatsoever.
I think I may have played one time, but I didn't know. I don't think I recognized it as League of Legends. I was playing it at like this arcade, and like one of my friends at the time was just like, "Hey, you should try this out." And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "I'm so bored. Like this is not for me."
It sounds like you might just be like, this sounds like a skill issue. Like maybe you're just bad. I don't know.
I am bad at video games. That's why this isn't a gaming channel.
No, League of Legends just sucks.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I played League of Legends for quite a number of years. So I have actually a lot of experience with League of Legends. If you want to exchange your soul, I would highly recommend the game.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's not worth it. You don't, and I think kind of what you were alluding to, Max, is that you really don't have to know anything about League of Legends to follow the show
At all.
Yeah,
like,
at all. You get a lot of Easter eggs if you know the show, like the little pets that Dr. Heimerdinger has. Heimerdinger.
Heimerdinger.
yeah.
Heimerdinger.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the little pets that Heimerdinger has, they're poros and they're super cute and they just kind of like pop around the map. And then like there's a creature in the back of the evil scientist dude who was working
Singed?
Yeah, Singed. Well, I can't remember his actual name in the show. I remember Singed, but what was his name? Anyway, the evil scientist dude. There's a creature in the background. If in one of the shots, and you're like, "Oh, I'm pretty sure that's Warwick from the game."
Yeah,
but
I heard about that.
Yeah, and so I liked it because you don't have to have contacts. You get extra Easter eggs if you do, but otherwise.
I guess, Joelle, did you ever you probably watched James play at one point. I would assume.
Nope.
Oh,
Nothing.
okay.
I just happened to watch Arcane with him over like whole teleparty thing where you could sync up your Netflixes across the state. So he would pause it like every 30 seconds and be like, "Did you?"
Oh no.
Yeah.
Listen, it was real annoying. I admit that. I'd do it again.
Oh my god.
Well, at least you're honest.
I'm one of those rare people that appreciates the extra context without actually having to dive into a media.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's fair.
I love lore. So yes, give.
Okay.
So yeah. Anyways,
I mean, for me, like, I remember seeing the trailer for the show, and I was just like, "Oh, cool! This looks like the animation style that those League of Legends like music videos have." And I've always really liked the animation style in those music videos. I was like, "Oh, cool! They're gonna make an entire show. I wonder if it's actually connected to League of Legends." And I see like the subtitle. It says Arcane League of Legends. I'm like, ugh. Not gonna watch
That's
this.
Mhm.
But then, like, I saw like a couple people react to it, and they were like, "Shit, this is actually pretty good." Then I start hearing people like, since I was at college at the time, other people start to like talk about it, like, "Dude, you gotta check out this show. It's really good."
Mhm.
And then like I checked it out, and I was like, "This is incredible." I think what makes the show so palatable and like open to so many people is that it does a good job of holding your hand in some moments, like explaining like the class structure of like Piltover and the underground or the Undercity by having these really good point of view characters with Vi and Powder. I think the part one, the first 3 episodes, do a really good job of just setting up like this city in total is just waiting to just go off because there's just tension all around and everybody's just trying to like keep it together in some way, like keep the peace, and then just like there's no wasted space in this show. Like the first heist they do has implications throughout this entire show.
Yeah, that was something that I really appreciated, was like kind of the continuity of some of these characters, because we're introduced to basically our 3 main players like right off the bat,
Yeah.
and we get a pretty good view of like how they live, and the world building is
so good.
so good.
beautiful.
I love a good steampunk,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
when you incorporate a magic system into it, so good.
I can't tell. Is this now? Correct me if I'm wrong. For people who know the difference, would you consider this a hard magic system or a soft magic system?
Ooh,
I think I lean towards technically a hard magic system.
Okay.
To access it and use it, you have to be very specific.
Okay.
I would lean that way as well. Something that they don't get into in the show is that there's a lot of different magic systems in that world,
Oh shit.
and so like, oh yeah, tons of them. And so I think this one specifically, I think it's softer from our perspective because we don't understand how it works, and I think they do a really good job of showing that when they spend like 5 years or 10 years, however long it is, trying to work with this magic and figure it out and stuff, and they're still fumbling. And so I think from Jace's perspective and from our perspective, you could argue that it's soft, but then you have like Victor, who's like what you're saying, Joelle. You have Victor who's in the lab messing with it, and only certain things work. I think I lean towards hard as well.
Okay.
Also, we see that glimpse with the wizard early in the series, and that seems very hard magic system to me.
I was just curious because just for the audience watching this who for some reason hasn't watched Arcane, I just feel like it's important to just explain the difference. That way, like, you can go in knowing like you don't need to know as much about how everything works. Like, they pretty much just say magic powers these machines they're wanting to make, and that's all you really need. And like, how does it work? Magic. Do you really need to know? Not really, but
it's very accessible.
I guess like what I would love to talk about and what kind of makes this show so special is that like the writing of every single character in this show is just so good. Like, every character is so unique, and you love it when like various different characters who Piltover and the Undercity, when they start to meet and how they interact and how just the way they combine different characters in this show and all their interactions just are so unique. But like there are no small characters. Like, even lab assistants have full-on arcs. Not big ones, but they still have like character arcs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess what I think I should probably do is I'll just go down the list or I'll just ask you guys, who was your favorite character? And I'll start with Adrian. If you had a favorite character in the show, who would it be?
I just love Jinx as a character.
All right.
Just one progression. It's fun.
I agree. Like, she's so well handled.
It's almost like a Joker-esque storyline. Or what we previous reviewed, Transformers 1, very similar kind of story. A split off between our 2 main characters.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Where like you can understand how this character got to this point. Yeah, oh man, like
exactly. That's what I love. I love those stories.
Yeah, gotta give a big shout out to like Ella Purnell, who voices Jinx. She's so good. Like, I didn't when I heard who the actress for this was, I was like, you mean the girl from that dog shit Army of the Dead movie? She's Jinx? Like, holy shit. And then ever since then, she's now been in Fallout, that Sweet Pea show on Stars, and dude, she's so good in this role. I feel like I recognize Jinx from like various like cosplays at like conventions, because I feel like she was just a very popular character to cosplay as. But then like actually getting to see her like in the show in full context, I was like, she's incredible. Like, I think I love the way they animate her mental illness, which is a weird thing to say. But
no, but it is very well done. It's very I like how artistically directed it is. Like a lot of the aesthetics feel very intentional, which is cool.
Yeah, like I love the implementation of film scratches. Basically, what you could do on like old film, like full on celluloid film, is you could like scratch in stuff to the film, and that's what it looks like. So, but it's all hand animated in this show to look like film scratches. It is so damn good. It's such a unique aesthetic for the show and for her character in particular that like went towards the end of the show when she just full on breaks. Like it is just everywhere and it's so well done. It's so expressive. Yeah, it's awesome. Does anybody else have anything to say about Jinx while we're on this character?
I love how dynamic they make her, personally. I love that they give her complexity and like we know she's not dumb.
No,
even though she has been like manipulated into this position, she's not stupid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, like even at a young age, which I really appreciate.
It would be really easy to put her in like a Harley Quinn sort of position where canonically she should be really intelligent.
Yeah.
And then it just doesn't come across in the actual media that's produced.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not all of the Harley Quinn media. But she is canonically a doctor and often does not live up to that.
No, yeah. So. Yeah, I get it. No, I know what you mean. Like, in this show, like, she is smart. She is calculated. Like, even though they call her a jinx, and, like, her whole idea is that she screws things up, it's not intentional. The first one isn't intentional. The first time she screws up. I think, like, ever since then, she's just an agent of chaos. But in order to be, like, an agent of chaos, like, you still have to plan things out meticulously in order for everything to fall correctly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you build an RPG.
Yeah, yeah. And a steam-powered minigun.
Exactly.
Yeah. Speaking of something that I appreciate about specifically Jinx, but the rest of the characters, and this is something that I really like about, like if you've played League of Legends, I mean, if you haven't, the show is beautiful. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I love is that they do such a good job of serving the fans of League of Legends with these little tidbits, like all of her traps and guns and the RPG that she creates. Everything about her fits into the character that you play as in the video game. And so you'll recognize the abilities in the video game in what she's doing in the show. And they do such a great job with all the characters. Like Jace, they do a great job with his hammer / blaster thing. They do a great job with Vi's gauntlets. But specifically with Jinx, they like nail her abilities in the video game, in the TV show. And it just flows so seamlessly. You don't even think of them as like abilities in the show, and I think they just did a really great job with that.
Yeah, I personally, I can't speak for everybody else here, but like for me, it was like, oh, she just uses guns, like that's her thing. But I will say, like, it does take me out sometimes, like especially with the RPG, like that's like a really emotional scene, and next thing you know, you just see a character pull out a RPG that's in the shape of a shark, and you're like, I mean, I get that's her shtick, but it does feel like in the middle of like a Scorsese movie, someone puts out like a boxing glove arrow.
Listen, bro, you're watching a cartoon.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
And honestly, I think it would bug me more if it wasn't still stylized. Like, I don't think they should sacrifice the interesting, weird aesthetic just for the purposes of having a moment when it's very clear that aesthetic still works even in the serious moments.
That's fair. Mm-hmm. I'm just nitpicking, but I will say it did take me a little bit like, okay, I guess it's a shark. but then I was like, then I'm just back in the moment. Like, okay, this is cool. If anybody else has anything to say about Jinx real quick, I would like to move on to someone else's favorite character.
Yeah.
No.
I love a mad woman, so I was going to say Jinx. But since we already discussed her pretty thoroughly, I think my favorite was Vi.
Yeah.
Just like her dynamics and how we see her change, and yet she still retains that core of like wanting to protect those closest to her and
Yeah.
caring for her community in the Undercity, even after she was essentially sold out and kept in prison for so long.
Yeah.
So,
But
yeah.
not by her city, but because the person who did that, Marcus, was
Mhm.
he's an
Yeah.
enforcer. So like it's still
Yeah.
keeping within like she still cares about her city, and her city didn't screw her over.
It was technically her city, but it wasn't her community.
Yes.
And
Great
I
way to
can't
put
blame
it,
her
yeah.
for hating enforcers.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I just say, Marcus sucks.
Marcus
Yeah,
does.
fuck that guy.
Yeah.
I don't care that he has a redheaded daughter.
No, I have to admit, during the scene, this is a spoiler, so if you have sensitive, spoiler-free ears, avert your ears. The scene where that guy fucking dies and, like, can't finish a thought about his daughter fucking cracked me up. I don't know what it was, but that whole sequence where he's like, tell my daughter that it felt like something out of a fucking Monty Python skit. It was incredible.
Going back to like there's no small characters in the show, I thought they were just gonna like make him one note throughout the whole thing, but like him going back to the grave of like that one enforcer woman with the awesome voice.
Mhm.
She's the only one we like.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the rest of the enforcers are just doing their job. Marcus sucks. She's awesome. The rest of the enforcers just doing their job.
All enforcers are bastards.
Listen, this is why women don't go into the field more often, because they're treated like men.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, man, we're getting really political.
Oh, just wait. But yeah, I think going back to Vi a little bit, like
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing that sticks out for me is like you rarely get like a main character or female character specifically that's the bruiser of the group. Like
Yeah.
the one that just says fists. Let's just do fists.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I love it. Like
I love that moment where that giant dude that's part of Silco's group like is in prison and Vi walks up to him and he's like terrified. He's probably peeing his pants as she's walking up.
Yeah. Her action scenes are my favorite. Like even without like the cool gauntlets.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is about the animation in this show, but like actually seeing punches connect and like you see the bones move before the skin like follows. It's so well done. Like like every time someone would get hit, I'd be like, oof. Like,
There's like a visceral quality to it, and I
Yeah.
really appreciate that about this animation style.
yeah, especially in animation, sometimes you don't get like good choreography because the animators are just like, okay, I guess the leg is gonna be here for this action sequence. But no, like you actually see her using actual boxing skills. Like she'll pin someone's arm up and then go for an uppercut and like various other ways. Like it's so well done. Like it looks like they got two people to fight and they just animated over it. But
Yeah. You can really smell the Netflix money coming off of this animation style.
yeah, all that money that they're in debt for.
Yeah.
When it comes to like her using her fists and like being that bruiser, I love that she didn't just in like I don't know episode 7 or whatever it was just pick up the gauntlets and start using them. Like because I feel like a lot of shows would do that. They would just say like, oh, this character needs a weapon. Now they're using fists.
Mhm.
And you see her like no, this is what she feels comfortable with.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I like that character development even with like her weapon.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like this is an enhancement of her already well-established fighting style.
Exactly.
Like she has that entire boxing training machine
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah, that thing's
like,
awesome.
right off the bat. That thing is real cool.
Yeah.
Side note to like the inferiority complex for Jinx.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah. Anyways, that's well done. As a younger sister, that's fair. But yes, very well done. I love how they simply like enhance her qualities as time goes on.
Mhm.
Girl ages like fine wine.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Also, just because, like, again, Haley Steinfeld does so good in this role. I almost forget it's Haley Steinfeld. I'm just kind of lost in the character.
Really, because that's the one thing that took me out of it was every time she spoke. It reads as so Haley Steinfeld to me that like I'm completely unable to separate it. Like every time she opens her mouth, I'm like, oh, it's the chick from Pitch Perfect too. Like every single time, it was really disorienting. So that's fascinating that that's like completely different to how you experienced it.
I
That
don't
was not
know.
my
Like, for me,
experience at all.
I think what helps is that, like, she voices the character through every age that we see her. So, like, I think she just does, like, a really good job of, like, with her voice, showing what stage in life she's in. So like before she's put in prison, like she's a bit more like not I shouldn't say carefree, but like has a bit more of that youthful like invincibility to her voice of like I'll be fine, nothing's gonna happen. And then when you like cut to her after she gets out of prison, I don't know what she does, but like the cadence in her voice just sounds so much like a person that's just been screwed over. And like
Very
you could just
cynical.
yeah, cynical. Yeah, you could just hear the cynicism in her voice, and it's just like I just think she does such a good job. And like I just hear Vi, and now whenever I like watch like Hawkeye or something like that, I'm like I'm not hearing Kate Bishop, I'm hearing Vi. It's weird. I don't know what it is. Like and you know what? I think she's just a great actress. Like that's just plain and simple. I just think that she's that good in voice, especially like for a voiceover talent. I don't know if she's done much voice acting in the past. Image here. Is there anything else anybody wants to talk about Vi real quick before we move on to another character from someone?
I love her dynamics with the different characters.
Yeah.
Reestablishing connections with different people after she has spent time in prison. And
are you talking about her really good friend, Caitlin?
I don't think she met Caitlin prior to being in prison, so no.
Oh.
And they were roommates. So I was referring to like Echo. And
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
With that.
Mm-hmm.
So watching her come back to her community and see it completely changed, and to the point where she still has like this love for it, but it's unrecognizable to her.
Yeah.
And I feel that.
Yeah.
So that's why she's like one of my favorite characters.
I gotcha. All right, I think we can move on to like Emily. You have not said your favorite character yet.
I sure haven't. So I mean, I guess we just brought her up. So I'll go with Caitlin. I was initially not. I was a little iffy because of the whole enforcer thing. I was like, but I wound up really liking Caitlin a lot more than I expected to throughout the show.
Yeah.
I think she's a really interesting sort of foil to both Jace and Vi in a lot of ways, which is interesting because I like that she's connected to both of those characters and in a lot of ways represents the opposite of some of their stuff. And like I think she's a very interesting example of like a character who is doing more to try to prove to herself that she is good than actually like being good or doing the right thing. And I think I just think she's fascinating. I'm really excited to see what they do with her in season 2 because I think she's just a fascinating character study, and I appreciate the level of like thought that goes into a lot of her actions.
Sure.
Also, gay cop ladies. Well, half cop lady, half punching people lady. But yes, the
cop lady.
The homosexuality, the homosexuality certainly helps.
Adrian, you've been kind of quiet. Do you have anything to say about like Caitlin as a character? I mean, if you don't, that's fine. But like,
not really. I mean, Emily said it best. Like, she compliments Jace by, and also just being a trigger for Jinx.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Like, so having her, like, even just, just not her being there for the sake of the story. She has her own character, which is great. But then that moment just solidifies, she's important now. You're stuck.
Yeah.
She does not fall into the category of could be replaced with a sexy lamp.
Yeah.
Well said.
It's a sexy lamp with that weird steampunk cop outfit. That weird top hat.
Max, I know what I'm getting you for Christmas.
Why does the light keep flicking on and off?
Not the sexy gay lamp.
No, it's a disco.
It's a disco. Yeah. Yeah, I guess if I can say anything about Caitlin, go back, keep it on track. I really do like the relationship between her and Vi. Like, you can see where things are going, but you can also see how, like, I like how they handle Vi, like, trying to break things off really quick, even though she doesn't really want to. Because she's just like, it just will never work. Like, even though she really wants it to work, I'm like, I just feel so bad. I'm like, oh man, like, it could work if you try.
Yeah, I mean, they do the fucking Utna Yuri bed pose. It's insane.
Listen, but the tension at the beginning, like Vi distrusting her purely because she has a preconceived idea of who Caitlin is due to her being an enforcer.
Yeah.
And then watching them both working to overcome that is very good, very entertaining, good storytelling, in my opinion. But,
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
neither here nor there.
Yeah. Is that what we have to say for Caitlin so far?
I think so.
Okay, James, you're up. What is your favorite character? Which I'm gonna say this is gonna be really interesting what you may say, because you have actually played the games. So I'm really curious what your favorite character is.
So actually, my favorite character is not in League of Legends to any capacity at all.
Okay.
My favorite character was Vander, hands down my favorite character, and it was absolutely necessary for storytelling, so I'm glad they did it. But I was so sad that they killed him in the first part.
Yeah.
Major spoilers, by the way.
But hurts your ears.
Yeah, he's a spider. That's what he is. He's a fighter, and he's got such a temper, and he reins it in. He keeps himself calm, and he keeps everyone else. I don't want to say in check, because he's not like mean when he does it, but he keeps order. And so, I mean, he feels like what the enforcers should be for the underground. And
I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, and so he keeps the peace in the underground. He keeps relationships between between Piltover and Zod, what the
Zod.
underground.
General Zod, yeah.
What is the underground city called?
Zaun, Zaun, I think.
Zaun. That's
Yeah.
what it is, not Zon.
I just corrected a League of Legends player, everyone.
And everyone clapped and cheered, Max.
He keeps the peace between the two worlds. He also just literally just kind of adopted two children whose parents, well, kind of the other. I guess maybe the other two, but
I
definitely.
think it was 4.
Okay,
I was gonna
But-
say I think he's got more than that.
Yeah.
I think you're right. But I'm thinking like the opening scene in the middle of the war.
Yeah.
He's got his gauntlets on, and he looks over, he sees Powder and Vi, and he just takes them in, and he raises them. And he did not need to do that. He is the perfect level of strength and compassion when you're talking about masculinity.
Yeah.
Has so much compassion and love. He's a mediator. He doesn't just immediately fight. I love the scene where the kind of squirrely dude is getting into some debt. Not into some debt. He sells something to the thugs, and the thugs are like, "We're only going to pay you half, whatever." Dude's like, "Well, yeah," can't really stand up for himself. And Vander just kind of saunters over and handles it. No violence, just mediates it. Very calm, and I love it. I just love how Vander is his character is built, and he's so imperfect, but he does his absolute best in every situation to do what's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think what you said there at the end of that, he will do whatever it takes to get to have something done right. I think what's really telling is that we're towards the end of when we see him, he uses shimmer, and in most shows, they will have characters have codes that they will not break. They won't do drugs to do this sort of thing. But what I find really interesting that he does take it as this one last gasp just to beat them, and I found that really interesting only because it just goes to show he will do anything to protect his own. He will sacrifice his own body because you can see he's fucked up. That shit fucked him up. I don't even know how you go back from looking like that, but still that's the point. He took itself that far to protect his daughters pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely a big shock for me in the show because I was I don't know if he's gonna do it, but when he did, it was oh shit.
Yeah. So something I kind of appreciate about Vander is how much of him we see in Vi, and how she is at the beginning and then after Vander and after the incident.
Mm-hmm.
And how at her core she still wants to be this protector and make sure that the Undercity is running how it should be, and that it's a functioning community, even though there is less corruption and it's not as wealthy as Piltover, but they still have dignity.
Yes,
and I think that's something that is maintained by Vander, because we see how far they crumble when he's gone, and when it's just Soko letting things kind of run wild as long as he gets paid.
Mm-hmm.
So I love seeing the reflection of Vander and Vi, and how she kind of reclaims that in becoming that protector again.
Yeah.
And fighting for a better Undercity than what she sees.
I think, funny enough, like, if we can move on from Vander, you just brought up one of my favorite character of the show, Silco. I love this character.
He's
I know
one of the best villains I've ever seen.
I agree. Yeah, like,
Genuinely, yeah.
like if you make me cry when like the villain dies, like that's insane. But like I don't know what it is, but like I thought I was gonna hate this guy because he just seems like he literally is built to be someone like a mustache twirling villain. He's lanky. He's got one fucked up eye. He looks like a Saturday morning cartoon villain.
Dude looks like the rat from Tale of Despero.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Does. Holy shit.
Let me have a picture now. Hold on.
Image here. But yeah, what I like about Silco is that he is one of those villains where like you totally understand where he's coming from. Like you bring up the fact that like Vander wanted order and peace within the Undercity. What I really appreciate about like Silco is that he doesn't want like the Undercity to like crumble, like you say. He just wants it to be free and for people to be what they want to be. So when like you say that like it crumbles and it's basically unrecognizable, that's what he wants. He wants people to express themselves and be free from this tyranny and this like oppression that is put from up top, and like to just do what they want, like to run wild. And like I think the very idea of Shimmer is that it could like bring the strength out of people and make them be better than what they already are. I've just really appreciated like his character overall, and I think what I really like about him is like when he like takes in Jinx or Powder and basically forms her into being Jinx. He genuinely wants to be a good dad.
Yeah.
I mean, Emily, I remember we talked like off camera one time about like your opinions on this relationship, so I kind of wanted to hear if you'd be okay talking about it.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. I had to take a long gap in watching this show, kind of unintentionally because my life is extremely busy and I don't have that much time to watch TV, but also partially because that first scene post time skip with Silco and Jinx was so violently uncomfortable. But it's very interesting because normally in a dynamic like that, I would assume that the intention behind it being uncomfortable lies with like the older man, but in that scenario I don't even think it was necessarily either of their faults. I think it was just a really fucked up toxic dynamic. But I did have to stop watching for a bit because I was like, it is rough to watch.
Yeah, for me I didn't feel that because I was just like, okay, so in this daddy-daughter relationship they're just more close. Like, I didn't get anything sexual about it, but I could totally see how other people could read it as such. But
I definitely was worried that was where the show was going when we see them interacting again post-time skip. I was very concerned about it turning into a grooming Joker Harley Quinn situation. So
and I mean, it is like
that.
not sex grooming, like
yeah,
the other kind of grooming, like personality grooming.
Yeah, like again, going back to like what I said earlier about like he wants people to express themselves on how they want to be. That is case in point with Jinx. Like he allows her to be what she wants to be pretty much, and like let her go wild and let her create, let her do so many things, like give her the confidence that she wanted and that no one else was giving her when she was young. But yeah, like Adrian, do you have anything to say about Silco?
Not much. Not what's already been said. I think
Okay.
he's just a great villain, you know, and like that. Not going that grooming part, but I think that fatherhood and what you pointed on, like hearing, like when he unpassed, I felt it. It was definitely a different feeling, like you said before. So I can only just appreciate how well he was written.
Yeah.
There's a moment because as I'm watching part 2 and 3, I'm never sure if he really loves Jinx like a daughter or not. I go back and forth. I'm watching him like, okay, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, maybe he's just toying with her, maybe he isn't. And then you get to like the second to last or the last episode, and Jace offers him everything he's ever wanted in return for Jinx. And then he's sitting at the fountain talking to himself / Vander, thank you. And he goes like, I finally understand what you meant by like, my daughters will be my undoing, or whatever he said.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, okay. No, this whole time he's genuinely loved Jinx like a daughter.
Uh-huh.
I loved that moment so much.
Yeah, that's a great moment.
I think that adds a lot of depth and actual complexity and added layer that we are able to sympathize with Silco about.
Mm-hmm.
And like, to your point, Max, when we meet Jinx again post time skip, she has confidence in the way she walks. And prior to the time skip, she was famous for her inventions not working.
Yeah.
And now they are lethal.
Oh yeah. They
and
work.
So, yeah, they work. And she still has some of that like mental illness whimsy
Mm-hmm.
to her. But like you can tell that he did his best.
What the fuck?
No, I see the vision. The mental illness whimsy, 100%.
Is that what we're calling it now?
You're telling me that writing peekaboo before a bomb goes off is like totally normal?
I don't know about you, but my Sunday afternoons.
Give me some of the MIW.
Listen, everyone needs whimsy. Hers is just like a special kind. So
A rare illness, if you will.
Oh my god.
Real quick.
I'm sorry, guys. This is gonna get it canceled.
No, it's fine. But before, like, I know Emily needs to go. I would just like Emily to rant real quick about a particular character that she doesn't like, just to get it off mic.
I can't even rant about him. I am a Jace hater, and I need this to be known. The most interesting that Iron Man fucking knockoff ever gets is when he's interacting with Victor, and they're not even gay in an interesting way. Unbelievably disappointing. I hate him. His heterosexual relationship is boring. He's the less interesting half of his homosexual relationship. He's also the less interesting half of his heterosexual relationship. I hate him, and I think that if his stupid fucking hammer broke, I would be okay with. That scene where he kills a kid is fucking hilarious. It, like, not intentionally, but that... Something about the framing of like doing the whole cool action scene and then it just ends with the kid fucking falling over. I didn't want to laugh, but I did. And frankly, I think Vi was right in that scenario because he was sort of being a pansy about the whole killing a kid thing. Like, not that killing kids is cool, but he definitely should have known what he was getting into, and backing out at the first sign of doing anything wrong.
No, James. There is no but. No, we're not butting that.
I don't know.
No, Adrian.
Casualties of war.
That's what I'm saying. Like, not that it was good, but that he should have expected this. And I was totally with Vi when she was like, dude, you can't just back out because one bad thing happened. That's just how this shit is. And I legitimately think it's like real commentary on the fact that as much as Jace wants to be like this cool badass hero guy, he's like a fucking insular pansy who has never actually seen what real life is like. So to its credit, I think that moment is actually extremely well done. I have never seen
so little development from Chase. The entire show.
Yeah.
Like, he's that naive inventor the entire way through.
Yeah.
Like, and then he tries to be the naive politician. And that's funny to watch him get manipulated. That was really funny.
Yeah.
Like, dude,
but
you have no.
Then again, if Mel was the one manipulating me, I don't. I am not a strong man.
Oh, we know.
You have a point.
Hey.
All right, well,
I know.
Just her, and that's the thing.
Uh-huh.
I think I don't hate Jace, but I do completely understand your points. And specifically in the area of like Vi being right, what really drives that home is that like an episode or two later, he starts a whole war with the underground.
Like, dude, what?
Yeah, like, because he's exactly the kind of guy where he can't get his own hands dirty, but he's totally fine with the knock-on consequences of his actions, so long as they're out of sight. He's like an American politician in a cartoon.
Yeah,
For real.
Be the American the Japanese think you are.
Jesus.
Not like that, Max.
And on that note,
All right.
I've never heard that, but I'm gonna use it from now on.
All right.
a great rest of the episode and a great rest of your night.
All right. Thank you, Emily.
You know there's something wrong with you when the villain has more character development and compassion than you do.
Yeah, that is a
when
problem.
Yoko has more morals. The dude that comically looks like a rat
Yeah.
has more morals than you.
Mm-hmm.
Something's off here, dude.
Yeah.
Dude is default built.
That all being said,
Yo, yeah, for real. Sorry, go on.
No, you're fine. That all being said, I do think he was a very good character for the show, and I do
yeah.
like that we get a lot of stuff from his perspective. Even if you don't like his character,
Yeah.
I think that's intentional how he's built, and so I want to make sure that's not a critique of the show; it's a critique of him.
Yeah, yeah. Like, it kind of makes me want to see like more layers to the character, in my opinion, going into season 2. Well, if he's there. I mean, I don't know much about League of Legends lore, but like, but no, yeah. I mean, we kind of talked about it, but like, does anybody have anything to say about Victor? 'Cause I really like that character too.
So much.
I love Victor. I am kind of really hoping that he becomes an Eldritch Horror beyond our comprehension. Because I think that would be so good for his character development.
Do you want me to spoil anything about Victor's character?
I would say no. Leave it for season 2 if he's there. I would say leave it for season 2 or a review for that.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
But I love the complexity of him.
Yeah.
All of that complexity and empathy and compassion, and then choosing to pursue this course of action in like kind of bargaining away his morals and the points that he's willing to cross to try and get cured are so good.
Yeah. I think going back to like what you said about Silco looking like a rat, Victor also looks like characters like traditional villain characters. Like, he's lanky, he's got a European accent.
I mean, for me, he just reminded me of Harry Osborn.
Yes, that's a great point.
Harry Osborn. Yeah,
that's the vibes I got from the entire.
It's a great point. But
something wrong with myself.
I was
Not
just
that
saying,
one.
But no, yeah, like,
yeah.
But yeah, again, a villainous character sometimes. But
yeah.
But like, I love that in this show, like, at least for season 1 so far, like, you are totally on his side throughout everything, and because he's also like the only person that like sees Jace's potential, and like. And the cool thing about Jace, too, he's not an immediate dick about it. Like, he doesn't take all the credit for it. And even, like, when he has all his face on the billboards and stuff, you could tell that Victor's not really out for that kind of glory. He's more in the glory of, like, what new thing can I find? And, like, he's a scientist on a time crunch. So he's just like, I have to find this out now. Like, I have no time. Yeah, like, love that character. And, like, the scene where, like, he finally, like, figures out mixing the hex core and the shimmer and runes to fix his leg, and him just fucking running is so powerful. It's so good.
Yeah.
I love that scene. Adrian, do you have anything to say about Victor?
No, not really. Besides, he just gave me Harry Osborn vibes.
Go on.
I was just going to bring up his connection to the Undercity and the mad scientist that also has connections to Silco.
Yeah.
And so we see like this not quite 6 degrees of separation between the different characters and how they all connect and how that has kind of formed them into who they are, because like that scientist had a great big impact on Victor, but now we're seeing Victor also having more access to stuff in Piltover due to his connections with Jace and the elites. So watching that trajectory, but him still kind of going back to the Undercity and kind of holding on to those roots, like he still claims the Undercity as his home. And being like, you say all these terrible things about the people from the Undercity, but I'm from there, Jace, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know what you mean. How can you treat them like they are less than human?
Yeah. Which I find really interesting coming from Jace's character, knowing that like the entire like Piltover rejected him to begin with when they initially found out about his experiments. So like him just being all buddy with them is really like it's very telling about like when you get that kind of power, like how quickly your morals change and how you view people. But like
I think part of that is that like he grew up so poor and he wanted to fit in so much with Piltover that I think he had kind of adopted their snobbery, their above the undergroundness, that because he wanted so badly to be a part and to fit in with that society.
I agree. Yeah, very much. Like I guess before like we move on to whatever we talk about next, I just want to mention the line that I think is such a well-written line of like, I think it's either Victor or Jace says it. It's in our pursuit of wanting to be great, we forgot to do good.
I think that was Victor.
Yeah, I love that line.
It was real good.
It's those two, it basically is the log line for both of those characters.
I think that also echoes the sentiment brought up by Heimerdinger throughout. He's like, I've witnessed these war crimes. I've seen this all go wrong before. Don't make the same mistake we did.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go and do it anyways.
Yeah, of course.
Because if they didn't, then what kind of story would this be?
Yeah. If everything went right in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Quick side note. I have a friend from high school who looks exactly like Victor.
Really?
Yeah, it's so uncanny.
Does he have a sickness where he has to walk a cane around and possibly might
No.
commit various magical atrocities?
No.
Okay.
But he does have the same hair.
Oh, okay.
And,
Okay.
The face shape is 1-to-1. Like they look. It looked like they took my friend and just like copied and pasted him into the show and aged him like 5 years.
Okay.
And then gave him a disability.
Yeah, naturally.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Um,
I guess if we wanted to like wrap up characters so far, because I think once we wrap up characters, like we could just talk about various different kind of things in the show. But like one character I want to talk about that kind of springboards into other discussions I want to talk about, Echo. Really like that character. Kind of wish he was in it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But for what we do get, oh my god, this like episode 6 of the show to me is just the animation team saying, "Look what we can do."
What budget?
yes.
Yeah, what budget?
Echo is so well built. Transferring media from the video game to the TV show, so well done. And I loved seeing him when he's like, I don't know, 10, and how like full of life and excited he is, and like he's got such kid energy and just jumps around. He's like a little brother.
Mhm.
And then you get the time skip and he's like a serious leader. I loved it. It was so cool.
I love seeing Echo the Revolutionary
Yeah,
and how
yeah.
he's going to do anything to protect these people that have trusted him.
Yes.
Whether that is striking back against Silco or the enforcers, he's doing what it takes.
Mhm.
And it doesn't matter how young he is, he's going to do it.
Mhm. I don't know what it is, but like,
Character design is peak.
oh, it is. It's so good.
I appreciate the contrast between Echo and Silco, because you can see them both being leaders of the underground and leaders of a group of people who want to fight oppression.
Mhm.
And Silco doing it in a very I don't even want to say evil, because evil, right? He's doing it in an evil way. He's doing it in a very messed up way.
Yeah.
And then you have Echo, who's like, no, we need to fix. First of all, we need to fix the underground ourselves, because Piltover's not going to do it for us. So we need to make the underground better. We need to fix it. We are going to clean up the air, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, he's doing tangible things to make the living conditions of the people in Zon better.
Mhm.
And I love that, like, he has order in his family, in his group, where Silco has chaos. He has clean air, whereas Silco literally uses like bad air as a
Weapon.
threat.
Yeah. Love that.
And so like I love the dynamic contrast between those two, and you can see how a leader of Zon could be with Echo and how it is with Silco.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I think another thing too, like you kind of brought it up a little bit with the difference between Silco and Echo. Like Silco blames most of his problems on Piltover and the upper city. They give us their trash. They treat us like shit. They, and he uses power. He uses his power to try and get back at them. Whereas, like at most, you never see the Firelights Echoes group go after the upper city. They're just going after Silco.
Oh. Yep.
Like, again, going back to the thing of, like, they're fixing their problems. How can we fix what we have and not try to, like, take from others? So it's not like a Robin Hood thing of, like, robbing from the rich. He's mostly just robbing from the crime in the area. Like,
Yeah.
I find like I never really thought of it until like you brought that up, but like yeah, just it's a really interesting dynamic between these characters. And again, like we're talking about characters from a video game in which most of them kind of have one line like that happens. Like it's crazy to me just like how well written this show is. Like
I will say, so when you're like reading the description of the characters in the video game, because they all have like a synopsis of like where the background or whatever.
yeah.
It is, some of them are different because like I think Jace is portrayed as like, I mean, slightly different. Jace is portrayed as like this super cocky, arrogant, like
He looks it.
yeah, and like just kind of a dick, right? And so he's portrayed differently in the show. Still arrogant, still and naive, but different. But the world building has the groundwork for the world building was laid in the video game.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think really helped the show because they didn't have to create a world from scratch. Like the video game had so much of the world already made. I mean, they had like the weapons for Vi, the weapon for Jace, the weapons for Jink. They had Piltover and Zon already established in the video game. And so like I think that actually helps with the show being able to take a lot of the inspiration and not having to build up an entire world from scratch.
I guess if we wanted to rave about the animation a little bit more, I just gotta say, I think the animation's done by Forchi. I think that's the name of the company. French company. I love the idea of the thought process behind the animation in that it's 3D models and 3D, well, actually it's not a 3D world. I'll get into that a little bit, but like 3D models of these characters moving about, but all like the effects and like animated like gunfire, like lightning, magic, smoke, all of that is done 2D, or at least like traditional 2D animation. And it just gives the world and everything just this really interesting look. Like everything pops out so well. And like what I learned about what's really cool about the backgrounds in the show, they're all like painted backgrounds. They're not like 3D models of cities. They're just really detailed paintings that move with the camera, or the in animation camera. And they just add like clouds and blimps and airships going about. It just creates this really interesting look for the show that like makes it look like the games from what I've seen from the games, just with a little bit more movement and a little bit more character. Like, my God, the facial animations are insanely good.
What I've noticed is that animation has gotten so good lately, except for Disney. like when you think about some of the animations that are coming out recently, like this, like Spider-Verse. Oh my gosh, the Spider-Verse animation.
Yeah.
And then you have Disney.
Yeah. Well, you also got to point out, like, we already reviewed these. They should be out by the time this is out. Wild Robot and Transformers 1. Like, the animation in those movies look awesome as well, especially Wild Robot.
Yeah.
Go watch that video. We raved about it. But yeah, I just, like, this show is just proves to me that not everything needs to be in live action. Like, I never want to see League of Legends live action. Like, I want to see just more of this animation.
I'm really hoping that they don't stop with Arcane for League of Legends because there's so much world building. They could go to like any part of was it not Runeterra? I think Runeterra. Anyway, the world. They could go to any part of the world and just like have new stories. And so I would love if Netflix continued to put out little like mini series about different characters from League of Legends.
Yeah. It's Arcane, subtitle League of Legends. So like they could just be like something else, League of Legends, and then do what you said. Because like I have seen like some of those like music videos like I talked about earlier, and there's just like so many characters. I'm like, this is the same world as Arcane. There's so many different and unique characters that look interesting. And my brother plays the game too. He was telling me like, yeah, dude, like I love Arcane, but like these aren't my favorite characters from the game.
No, not at all.
Yeah, there's so many other characters that like he was like talking about that he wants to see.
You should at some point after this, you should watch the Yasuo animation. You can just probably look it up on YouTube, Yasuo animation, and it's like 5-minute animation of one of the other characters from League of Legends, and I was kind of blown away by just how simple a quick short could be of one of the characters. I would love for his character be given a full TV show like this, because he's got great tie-ins with the other characters, Irelia, But the storytelling for Yashua could be awesome. The storytelling for Yi could be, well, never mind, forget that one. The point is, there's a lot of great characters that you could get some really awesome stories out of. Oh my gosh, sorry, I could go on a 20-minute rant about the world building because you have like all of these countries and that are referenced in the show, like Noxus, who the general who's Mel's mom.
Yeah, the one with the twink.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And she was awesome and a little weird, but awesome. And like
again, I kind of jealous of that one guy.
All right, dude, calm down. But like the storytelling between Noxus and Demacia, like I mean, there's full-on wars that you could tell in this world, and so I really really hope they keep on going with these.
Well, I mean, for me, that's all I really got to say about the show. I mean, there is one thing we're clearly omitting from this particular video, and that's the music from the show. That's because we are doing a separate video, which we're going to record shortly after this, in which we are going to be ranking all the songs that were made for this show from worst to best. Yeah, that's going to wrap this video up. Bottom line, watch this show. Watch it before you see the season 2. Can't wait for that. Can't wait to review that too. This has been fun.
Record the video the day before season 2 comes out.
Yes, so we don't know anything about season 2. The trailers have been super vague about what happens or what's going to happen, so I'm really excited.
Any theories?
I do, but it kind of goes into what James was hinting at earlier about Victor, or at least what he wanted to talk about earlier that we rudely said no to.
No, you were right to say no if you didn't want spoilers.
But yeah, I have theories about that particular storyline going forward. But I don't know, I'm just really excited to see the full-on war between Piltover and Zaun, and like how much of a time skip is this going to be, or if it's not going to be a time skip. I don't know. Whatever they're going to do, I'm super ready for it. Like, I mean, the first season was a shock. Like, as long as they could keep the momentum they had from the first season, I'm excited for season 2. But yeah, does anybody have any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
No, I think that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I have lots, so I just won't say anything.
All right. Adrian, what about you?
Is water wet?
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yes.
Single molecule of water.
A single molecule of water is not.
I'm Max Gohals.
I'm Joelle.
I'm James.
Water.
Jesus Christ.
Her name is Water. Okay.
Yeah. Hit that like button if you want to. If you like this. Hit that like button if you like the video. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more. Share this video around so that we can get our word out to all the good people of the internet. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. Bye.